How's she going, my son? And welcome back to Civilization V with Polynesia. Settle in our capital of Honolulu. Honolulu, Hawaii. I had relatives who lived in Honolulu for a while. It was my aunt. She married an American man who was military, so they stationed out there for a while. It was kind of neat. Hello, Belgrade. How you doing? We lost a scout last episode, unfortunately. So once our granary is finished, we'll build another one. And I think this scout will go and attempt to find the other continent. Find another place to settle. The world's busiest people. We're in the lead. I like that. Because if you have the most production, if your average production is the highest, that means you're building things quickly. And that's, you know, I mean, that's a bit of an obvious thing to say, but that's a very good thing. Again, compound interest. It builds up upon itself very nicely. Yeah, we definitely want to work the 2 copper we have, because that makes more faith. Actually, you know what? Can I live with one of my people on the copper instead of the... Yes, but then we're not growing until the granary gets built. Damn. Okay, back onto the tile that actually makes food, you greedy bastard. Alright. You damn godless heathen stuffing your faces. Oh well. Hopefully the 5th person will be able to work the mine because we'll have enough excess once the granary is also in place. Although we'll need to start making not forests, we'll need to start making farms. I have to start making farms because the tiles as they are aren't given enough food. Again, like I said before, it mimics the real world's, the reason humanity was able to go from hunter-gatherer nomads to one of the most successful species on the planet. For the simple reason that we were able to routinely get food without fear of our lives. I mean, obviously farming wasn't perfect.
We often give our enemies the means of our own destruction.
Simply because, you know, there's a lot of things that could go wrong with farming that did go wrong, and people lost their lives over it. Either they starved to death or, you know, got sick and died from corrupted crops or whatever. But, you know, it was still a way lower mortality rate, in particular child mortality rate, as morbid as that is to say, than the hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Because the hunter-gatherer lifestyle, your food is often fighting you. And it isn't above, you know, eating your giblets while you're trying to eat its giblets. Or, you know, oh, hey, I picked this mushroom, let's see if it's good to eat. Well, dead. You know, it doesn't help. You know, so with farming, the simpler, not really simpler, but the safer lifestyle is why the species flourished as much as it did. So, you know, in other words, we need to start making farms so that we can get to that point. Now, I've heard in previous civilizations, like Civilization 4 and under, there were, like, the civilizations actually had different tech trees. And the, some of the civilizations either didn't have or didn't start with farming. Unlike how it works in Civilization 5, where, you know, everybody starts from the common beginning point of agriculture, where everybody starts with farming. You know, so that every culture starts at the point where humanity was an agricultural species. Which kind of makes sense, because that's kind of the first point civilization really starts, if you think about it, in the strictest sense. But, I mean, you know, obviously there are other ways of doing it. And I mean, hell, there's still nomadic cultures in the world to this day. One turn for population, one turn for... one turn for scout. Just scouting along with this archer scout. Cape Town. Sweden must have met them already. Yeah, you only get half as much. You only get half as much first-time finder reward if you're not actually the first person to find them. Which is kind of annoying, but what can you do? What can you do? Other than bitch and moan about it, I guess. Honolulu has grown. Okay, good. The 5th person went to work on the copper mine. Excellent. Or work in the copper spot. It's not a mine yet. At this point... Build another worker? Because I can't build the stoneworks yet, as much as I'd love to. And I don't need walls. Actually, I do need a settler. I do need to make another city, so let's go do that instead. I do need to make another city so I get another shrine, so I get another 2 faith per turn. And just to claim more real estate, because that's important too. Because, like, the game has built-in things that make it so you can't spread too fast too quickly, but you want to spread as fast as possible in the early game while there's still a lot of open real estate before everyone's, like, on their borders and, you know, people have got territory claimed on you already. I mean, if you're trying to not be aggressive about it anyway. If you are trying to be aggressive, who cares? You just take what they built later. You know, concentrate on making the military better first, and then just take what everyone else has, because you're a douchebag. Which is cool, because I love how you can play the game in different ways like that. And I mean, hey, even when you're playing Culture Victory, sometimes you might have to knock someone else's city out of the way because they got a good spot, and you want it. Or you might have to take out a competitor for the Culture Victory, because, you know, theirs is either better than yours, or because their culture is so rich, it's hard to convert them to yours. Or it'll take too long. And, you know, someone else might be making nuclear weapons in the meantime, so you might want to, you know... You might want to deal with the other culture guy so that you can convert everyone else to your cause, to your culture before the guy with the nukes blows up everybody. You know, the game's got a lot of facets like that. Which is interesting because it definitely makes a turn-based game a lot more entertaining than it always being you just have to kill everything. As much as I love me some Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which is, you know, basically a game where, you know, it's a turn-based strategy game, but the end objective is always capture everyone else's castles, win the game. You know, or, like, various other military-type victories, where instead of, you know, in this game, there's actually many ways you can... Actually, almost all the victory conditions don't need your military. I mean, it's good to have one to defend yourself and to claim territory when, you know, like I said in those situations I mentioned earlier, but you don't need to be armed to the teeth at all times. You know, the only winning option is not murder, basically. You know, you can win, like I'm trying to do here, you can win with culture. You can win by wowing everybody with how awesome you are. You can...
Wisdom and virtue are like the 2 wheels of a cart.
You can win with diplomacy by making... You know, getting as many allies as possible, getting as many votes as possible in the World Congress / United Nations, and having everyone declare you leader of the world. You can win with science by building a rocket ship to Alpha Centauri and saying fuck it and leave and just screw Earth. I'm out of here. And then, of course, you can actually win by taking everybody else's capitals. But even when you're doing that victory condition, you don't have to murder everything. You can be sneaky about it and just take the capitals from under people's noses. You know, be political. Get other nations to fight each other, and then in the confusion, take a capital when no one's looking. I mean, they'll know you did the fighting anyway, because obviously, issue of global prominence, you've just sacked a city. But, you know, they might not have the chance to respond to it with their military, right? You know, while they're busy fighting on the borders, you sneak around behind them and take their capital. You know, that kind of thing. Instead of having to march your way through every inch of their territory and taking out every city they have available. And, you know, literally just being Attila the Hun, basically. Actually, I would like to point out, I mistook Shaka Zulu for... I don't know if his name is Shaka Zulu. It's Zulu. Anyway, I mistook Shaka for Attila because they both have this gray color, but Shaka's other color is brown, while Attila's other color is like burgundy red, kind of thing. Okay, settler is done. Probably going to want another worker, because I'm, going to have 2 cities worth of territory to start working with. Okay. Now, where am I setting up shop? Okay, your borders are going to grow out over here. This is tricky. Because if I claim here, I can't use this, and I kind of want to. And I'm kind of pinned between 2 city-states here, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I mean, it's cool to have them near me for getting them as allies later, but they're kind of taking up the good real estate right now. And taking them over and making them puppets or annexing them is a hassle I don't want to deal with. Oh, crud. What do I do? Well, might as well move them a little bit, because I got to get over this way anyway. I got no idea. I mean, I guess, like, here? Oh, that's so much overlap, though. So much overlap with Honolulu. Oh, and actually, I can't. I can't build them here because it's too close. You know what? It's probably going to have to be here, which is a bad spot because I kind of want to build giant heads in all these tiles. But it's probably going to have to be on this little nip here. It's going to be on this little nip. Because it'll be within reach of that copper, within reach of that copper. We're within reach of a couple of bonus things. A decent amount of coast claimed as well, which isn't too bad. I can certainly think of worse positions. Like even amongst this map I see right now. Yeah, this spot here is pretty good. But, don't really have, I'm not going to get a settler all the way around the coast to get it here. Although I suppose I could just use the ocean to get there, because, like, what's going to attack me? The barbarians don't have the ability to go on the ocean until the players do, and no one at this point does. Hell, a lot of people don't even have the ability to go on the water yet. Again, one of the things I like, or like, one of the Civ types I like in this are the ones that deal with terrain really well. Another one I'm particularly fond of is the Iroquois, of the Hiawatha of the Iroquois, who, they're like the forest nation, pretty much, because they can make roads to their cities with forests, instead of actually needing to pay for roads, which is kind of awesome. And their units move through forests in their own borders as if they were roads, meaning they actually move faster through them than instead of being slowed down, which is really good. Now, unfortunately, Samoa is in a bit of a shit spot to start with, so it's going to be a little slow going. You know what I can do? Is Honolulu? Yeah, Honolulu is working that tile, so buy this tile. So Samoa can work that tile. There we go. That should work. After construction, what am I going to need? After construction... I guess I'll need, animal stuff. Trapping, that's the one. Yeah, I'll get trapping, and then, something else. Trapping and sailing, probably, because I've got fish within range. I should be claiming that. Although not much. I can probably wait. Then again, I wouldn't mind settling here and getting the pearls, either. Like, settle right between these two mountains. Although I would have to see what else is around those areas, because I'm... You guys have got the shit kicked out of you. What happened? I'm at players at the classical era. Now, this does mean they have technologies above me, but I'm okay with that, because... Well, I'm going to be close to the classical era anyway once I get construction. But, the computer likes to beeline certain technologies, but then it starts, like, evening out a bit. And particularly if the computer doesn't start with writing, it'll slow down really fast later on. Because, like, they always seem to go for the higher-end technologies first that they're trying to get. Which, you know, if you don't have the library to build more science out of your population, really slows you down. Okay, so... Work the quarries, I guess. Yes, because then I can make the stoneworks. Which is relevant. I met Samarkand, and we are the first people to do so. Awesome. Also notice we're up to +5 gold a turn, which is nice. Got us in the hunt. That one isn't too bad if you're starting in Tundra, because Tundra gets a lot of deer. Because, like, you're kind of reliant on them because the terrain is shit for building farms. You normally can't. Barring a lake. Which makes sense. Permafrost and all that. But it's very annoying for setting up a civilization. Don't know how the Inuits do it. Well, I guess the Inuits do it because they're still hunter-gatherer style instead of agriculture. At this point, build a scout. I need some more inland intel. Build a little shitty road between the two cities, get some free money. Oh, hey, I got an achievement. The Appian Way. Build 1,000 roads over the course of just any number of games. Neat. I normally don't build a lot of roads with Polynesia because I tend to be coastal all the time, so like my highway is basically the sea. Because you get a thing later that lets you build city connections with just a building, and as long as they're on the coast, instead of having to build roads to your cities. Although building the railways later is pretty good. But, you know, so I wasn't expecting to get that achievement on Polynesia today, so yay. Good times for me. Founded Islam. Crap. What have they taken? What have they taken? Cathedrals. Oh, excellent. That's one I wasn't going to take. Because I want to get mosques and pagodas, because they're kind of the power play if you're being a religion. Because they're the buildings that build happiness, culture, and faith all in one building. It's kind of amazing. Built the scout. I'm gonna build another one. I need some more intel in the area around us. And if there's any ancient ruins lying around, I'm more than willing to take them. I will gladly take your 6 gold per turn for one of my copper. I do have 2, right? Yes. Beautiful. Thank you, Shaka. He's alright if he's not your next-door neighbor. If he's your next-door neighbor, prepare for hell. That's all I gotta tell you. Because he will settle right next to you.
3 things are to be looked to in a building. That it stand on the right spot. That it be securely founded. That it be successfully executed. Proud is the spirit of Zeus fostered kings. Their honor comes from Zeus, and Zeus, god of counsel, loves them.
I love the narrator in this. But anyway, Shaka, you know, he will settle right up in your business, and then get pissy at you for when you settle near where he's settling near you. Because he likes being a hypocrite like that. Yeah, we're gonna get sailing, right? I said I was gonna get trapping. Which I probably should, so actually go get trapping. Particularly for the circus, because free happiness building is never a bad thing. You know, a building that makes happiness with no upkeep? Sure. As long as you're near horses or ivory. That's easy to do. Admittedly, I'll only be able to do it with 1 city at the moment, but that's fine. 2 happiness is 2 happiness. Alright, we've hit our 20-minute mark here. So, thank you all so much for watching. Twitter, Tumblr, and subscription are in the description as usual. Civilization, it's a slow game. You know, it's a turn-based I believe they call them a 4X game. I don't remember what the X's stand for, but it's like, you know, explore, exploit, stuff like that. You know, it's a slow game. It's not like a StarCraft match where, you know, the match can end in like a couple of minutes if somebody does like a quick play with workers or whatever. Instead, you know, this is a slow game. This is, I mean, even a duel, which is just two civilizations going at each other, that usually takes a while. Barring, like, I don't know, Attila attacking somebody really not prepared for it or whatever. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and ciao for now.